Hey y'all, it's Day. So I'm gonna be doing a reading for us today. Have some music jamming in the background. I don't think you guys can hear, but I can. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to this celebrity reading. I don't know, I always forget to do this before I start the video, but angels, guides, ancestors, God, guides, source, and benevolent energies that stand in truth and love. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the guidance. Thank you for the protection. Please continue to guide and protect us as we walk our path. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Ancestors, what do you want them to know? What would they benefit from being aware of? You know, what do they need to hear? What do I need this message? Okay. So the undercurrent energy is the Two of Swords. Very interesting. So I do see that there is a reference to an awareness. There is a clear indication that whoever this reading is about has a strong sense of integrity in regards to like their mind body understanding or ability to process information. So this person is intuitive. They've kind of mastered how to navigate life, more specifically the challenging aspects of life. This person knows how to utilize or exercise discernment, and they do have a level of discipline is the way that it's coming through. I'm hearing the word fortuitous as well. So yeah, definitely they have put in the time, energy, and effort in necessary to make sure, of course, nobody's perfect, but they really do and have in the past put in a lot of effort into making sure that they're walking in their purpose, that they're making a difference, that they are not putting themselves or deceiving themselves is definitely the energy. They put a lot of time, energy, and effort into like their spiritual integrity, their spiritual intelligence, this person, and they, it shows, it just shows. So, the top of the deck under current energy, we have the Six of Pentacles coming out in reverse. Very interesting. I was hearing the word ownership. I do get that this person is in some way, shape, or form still kind of attached to monetary value or money or like looking the part is important to them. It's very interesting because it's kind of coming up as like coming through as a high. Like I feel like a stimulated high, being able to get something that I feel like captures my eye. Like it's very important to this person. Like I see something and I'm getting imagery of like a sports car or some kind of car that it's above just like it's not as 2D as, oh, this is a status symbol and I need to have this car, but it is still a little bit vain. It's like this person just likes the idea of looking at something and saying like, yes, this is the type of energy that I want to embody or possess or portray. So I'm seeing someone like looking at a certain car or a certain type of cars, and they're just like, yeah, like this is how I feel, or this is how I want to feel, and I'm going to project this energy. Something is also coming up about something about them doing this is a spiritual gift. And I've seen this before. I think that this is similar, like when people wear wigs. They might wear a different color wig than they're used to, or they might wear a really bold style wig, or like a bob or something edgy. And it's giving me that energy of like when you put on different hair, how you kind of start to take on a different attitude or embody a certain type of energy. And that energy is like projected to others, and how you can kind of like get into that role. That's what I'm getting with this person. Something about them and money, and trying to portray that or capture this type of attitude or energy. The same can be for like nails. I see people doing all kinds of designer nails, and it's interesting, you know, how if you change the color of your nails or the design or your clothes or just your hair, how your energy kind of like shifts and takes shape to kind of embody whatever your perception of that is. So that's the energy that I am getting. It is significant that the Six of Pentacles did come out in reverse. Um, so it may be something that this person needs to pay attention to or do a little bit of self-reflection on it. And the reason why I'm feeling that way is because I felt like, you know how people say like other people have a natural high? This feels like a very stimulated high, which is not necessarily a bad thing. It just can be depending on how you're using the energy. But I'm just getting a very charged up and energized type of energy from seeing a car, a sports car, and like they're taking this and they're just like, yeah, it's kind of like they're making a what is it called? A dream board, like physically with themselves, because this person is a celebrity. They do have access to money and resources. So it's very lavish and luxe. So I'm gonna just keep reading, but I just felt the need to like really try to like describe what that was, and that it may not be as healthy, or there's something to it. So the top of the deck, I mean not the top of the spread, we have the Queen of Pentacles coming out in reverse. So this is another indication that in some way, shape, or form, this person has like an emotional attachment to some of the things that they decide to buy, purchase, or wear. And it feels like it is a sensitive aspect of them that wants to feel and be seen in a way. It's kind of like going back to like childhood trauma kind of energy. It's like they may have an unhealthy relationship with clothing, maybe the amount of money that they spend on clothing, or maybe it's just that they feel like they have to dress a certain way to certain events or something, kind of like some kind of superficial quality. But it's throwing me off a little bit because this person is not superficial, but I do see that they do have some things that are coming up that kind of look like they may be indications of superficial, or maybe at face value, with me telling you this, you might feel like, oh, that's superficial. But it's just kind of like It's actually not a trauma response, but it's somehow related to their self-esteem and how they felt in the past. So this may be somebody that is like, you heard that quote, when you look better, you feel better. And how that is a tool that can be exercised, and then in other times it can be used as a beauty crutch, like Taryn Guy coined that term, a beauty crutch. There are things that we can do. A lot of people like to say, like, I'm just enhancing my beauty. But if it's something that you're doing so often and you start to feel weird or less attractive without that thing, that might be something to look into. So I do see fragments of this coming up in this person's life. So with the Queen of Pentacles coming out in reverse, something about their self-esteem or the integrity of their character is a little bit compromised by these practices is what's coming up, because they do use it to kind of build themselves up or make themselves feel worthy of something. And their spiritual team wants them to know that they don't have to have these luxury items in the way that they're using them. I don't know, it's just something about them they feel more worthy with these things. This is just what's coming up here. So on the left or the middle of the spread, we have the Ace of Swords coming out upright. There is this truth that is needing to be realized by this person, and it is related to their mindset, their perception with the sword of who they really are. So it feels like a muscle that is needing to be exercised, their mind more specifically, where it's kind of like a need for a build up of self-esteem. So this person could benefit from affirmations like, I am beautiful, I am handsome, I am attractive, I am magnetic, I am worthy, with and without these things. And there is this kind of energy of something being dislocated or something needing to be shifted about their perception. So sometimes our perceptions, because of our traumas, can be like really warped. Sometimes they can be inverted. And I'm pretty sure that there are other ways that things can kind of get tangled and moved around. But for this person, it's like giving me dislocated type of energy, where like if they were standing or needing to stand, they're not as firmly planted because one of their joints are out. That's the type of energy that these practices is giving them. So their spiritual name is wanting them to exercise authenticity a little bit more, and it has to start with having a positive view or a strengthening of their perception of themselves in regards to worthiness. Is coming up here, and this is coming out as truth that their spiritual team is encouraging them to step into, walk into, realize, accept, experience, and exercise through their practices. Underneath that, we have the Tower card coming out in the resistant position. So something about this has been going on for a while from their spiritual team's perspective, and it's getting to the point where their spiritual team is kind of feeling the need to step in or intervene within this situation. So sometimes we can stay in spaces, mindsets, environments, relationships longer than our spiritual team has allowed or God or universe has allowed us to before they have to kind of say like, okay, it's really important that we move on to the next stage of your life, and we need you to kind of move things along. So that's when the tower card will happen, where things will just naturally start to break down. And some people are prepared for those things. Some people are not prepared for them, or I should say, some people deal with this destruction, this decay, this tower moment better than others. For some, it could be sudden and a shock. But there is like this resistant energy where they're not willing to let something go. So I am getting male energy. Well, I am doing this for um, a male celebrity, but just to let you guys know, it is a male celebrity, and I am getting masculine energy. So the example that's coming through is like going through hair thinning and not knowing exactly how to navigate it, still in a way wanting to hold on to your youth, and some maybe superficial ideals regarding what youth looks like, or how youth should be experienced, or how it's kind of like holding on to a past youthful version of yourself. And their spiritual team is saying, like, you can still experience youth, but in the present moment as you are now. So it's kind of like your spiritual team is wanting to bring to their attention, or their ability to realize that youth is a perception. I know that can maybe feel like be debatable, because like when we do age, but something about their perception is just like they're trying to hold on to their youth in certain ways, and their spiritual team is asking them to kind of like get back into alignment. And it feels like the energy of something being dislocated and needing to be popped in, which can indicate that it may feel painful, like a painful realization, but that's something that is a short term type of pain or swollenness. It's not something that is critical, such as, having a puncture wound in an organ or something. If we're putting it on a scale of all the different medical situations that someone could have, it's not something insidious. We're not talking about something decaying. We're not talking about, an existential type of crisis or a traumatic blow to your body. We're talking about something is out of place and not realized and needing to be popped back into alignment. And it may hurt at first. And I'm hearing the word jolted. So, yeah. So the energy, like I said, I'm getting masculine energy, and it's giving me the energy of like going through the realizations that your hair is thinning and trying to realize or choose, am I going to, try to remedy it? Am I going to just cut it off? Am I in denial about this hair thinning? Do I feel less worthy with this happening? Do I feel like my youth is slipping away from me? And then, of course, with the earlier example, I was getting this sports car type of thing, where they feel like they need to find something, and then they attach it to their identity, or they allow that to be an extension of their identity. And their spiritual team is wanting, and it's like, it's not even necessarily, like I said, this person is not really honestly a superficial person. It's just that we have like little kind of, from our spiritual team's perspective, little areas of our life where we can all be kind of superficial. So yeah. And their spiritual team is saying like getting past this will make that person that much stronger, because this person already has a certain level of integrity within themselves, their character, their words, how they try to navigate life, how they interact with people. They try to be aware how they affect others. So yeah, very interesting. So I'm kind of wanting to go back to this Two of Swords that came out initially, where the spiritual team was saying like this person has intuition, they've put time, energy, and effort into like this spiritual aspect of themselves where they can exercise discipline and they have integrity with how they deal with others, and they definitely have integrity within their work and how they do it and why they do it. They have mental integrity as well. Um, so it does feel like an indulgence or a pleasure that they have. I do see that they do want to be seen in a positive light, which is not necessarily a bad thing. The energy that I'm getting right now is someone soon to be called to do some things that other people may not view them. It gives other people an opportunity to not view them in a positive light, but they're being called to do it. And I'm wondering, how does that relate to the physical aspects of like the way this is coming through is like maybe them having to be an advocate or choosing to be an advocate for something specific, or them speaking up about something that they've seen or they know, like an unpopular opinion. It's giving me that type of energy. But the example that was coming previously was like a car, hair. So it was more about appearance, like physical appearance. So we'll get more information on that. Directly underneath this Queen of Pentacles, we have the Page of Wands coming out upright. And I do see their spiritual team is encouraging them to get more specific, I'm hearing, about themselves. And they're wanting them to take more interest into their personal identity. And I was hearing vitality as well. Some aspect of them having true positive self-esteem and being able to embody true sense of worthiness. Their spiritual team is wanting to take a closer look at. So like with going back to the example of a male starting to bald and feeling like he's losing his youth, or that this makes him not attractive anymore, it's kind of like their spiritual team is wanting them to get more curious into who can they morph into now. So not to tell anybody what to do, but within this example of balding, I don't think any way that someone decides to, remedy that, or, move past it and kind of like let things go. I don't have any judgment towards that, but the energy that this spiritual team is saying is like, if a male was balding, they would prefer them to, instead of like trying to hold on to their hair, to, it's giving me more energy of like either shaving it off completely and embracing a new look, or changing their haircut altogether, which would give them a new look. So it's like if your hair is thinning, but you could still kind of like have it short, but it might have to be shorter than the length that they're used to wearing it. Their spiritual team will kind of want them to get used to accepting themselves in that type of state. Not that you're going to not do any grooming or anything, but it's just gonna be like more of a embracing and morphing and kind of going with the flow of how the direction that things are going, instead of maybe fighting against it or trying to hold on to it, or like maybe, for example, someone putting a whole bunch of dye in their hair type of energy. Like I said, I don't have any judgment against either thing. This is what the spiritual team is saying. But most importantly, their spiritual team is wanting them to like take more interest in what's really going on and facing this fear this person might have of looking in the mirror. Like we've probably all experienced maybe getting a bad haircut or getting a style that we didn't like or something where it's just like after you get it, you realize like this is not me. I don't like this. I like really don't like this. And we had to like go through this mourning stage. So I'm getting that type of energy. But their spiritual team again is wanting them to kind of get curious and be open to embracing this new stage of this life and kind of choosing to redefine some limiting perceptions that they may have initially about this process happening. This limiting perceptions that they have about what that could mean. They're kind of wanting them to redefine that. So my hair is thinning. The initial thought is I'm losing my youth. I'm getting old. I'm not attractive. This is not attractive. This is not me. And their spiritual team is wanting them to kind of shift into a thought process of like, who am I now? I'm still worthy. Let me get curious about what being attractive is to me. Because if I think that attractive is, having a full head and having muscles and looking a certain way or being under a certain body weight, in a way that's kind of like denying your current situation. And it's kind of like it's kind of getting to that space where you're not loving yourself or treating yourself the way that you should be treated. So it's kind of giving energy of like being disgusted with yourself. I'm not getting it's that extreme, but it's kind of like the energy of being disgusted with yourself and kind of shaming yourself for looking this way or being this way, instead of kind of using your perception of where you are now, where you're headed, like through your body first. So being able to feel that energy through your body. So it's like you might have gained 15 pounds and in your head you're like, oh no, like I need to do something about this. But their spiritual team is wanting them to be like, but how do I feel? Like, do I feel like I should be like busting my joints on the treadmill right now? Like, should I, am I putting myself in any detriment or going too hard in order to achieve a goal for the sake of, in some way, I feel like this aspect is the integrity of who I am. But their spiritual team is like, no, a little bit deeper. So this person is kind of like in this mindset of like, we know how important it is to be healthy and to take care of our body. But for this particular person, it's like, I will go to great lengths even if it's not healthy for me, or even if I am putting a lot of unnecessary wear and tear on my body in order to get these results that I want, losing these 15 pounds, instead of approaching it with a more holistic way. Working on that, yes, we can work on the body, but then also being able to address the immediate issue with more love and compassion towards itself. So this kind of reminds me of when I was a kid. For some reason I had got this idea that my feet were ugly, and for a while I was like, my feet are ugly, my feet are ugly. But then one day I decided that I was going to start to take care of my feet. So I would take extra care when I washed my feet. I would make sure that I clipped my toenails. I started getting creative and I started painting my toenails. It got to the point where I started doing different designs. So it kind of became a hobby. And what's coming up is the approach towards the issue. Over time with doing this, nurturing my feet, I no longer view my feet as ugly because I take time to just take care of them. And I now have an appreciation for them that I didn't before. Um, so if I had a different approach, like I'm gonna get some bleach because I noticed some dark spots on my feet and I want to get rid of that. So once I get rid of that, then I'll have a more even tone. And like I said, there's no judgment to anybody that does do this. Um, but if I approached it with a like, I need to fix this, like I need to fix it, there is a certain level of balance that this person's spiritual team wants to be aware of, realize that the way you approach something does matter. Because I approach my feet with like loving, caring, nurturing, I'm going to maintain this. I'm going to try to keep them nice. Um, Opposed to like, and I don't like the shape of my toes. I need to get this removed, or I need to do that. I need to bleach this. I need to, my feet need to be smaller. I need to start trying to squeeze my feet into sizes that I know that don't fit me. Like it's that type of energy. Oh yeah, another part of my foot journey is like in high school I started wearing heels and I like wearing heels, but I realized that, not all heels are the same. Some are more painful than others. And I got to the point before I was aware of like bunions and different type of conditions that your feet will kind of take on with long-term use of wearing heels. Before I started even becoming aware of that, I just noticed that I wasn't always comfortable. And I started to value my comfort over the style, or not sacrificing my comfort over style or how I want to look. So it's that type of energy. Then later I learned about long-term effects of wearing heels, and I was glad that I had already made the decision to, not that I'm giving up on style altogether, it's not that like I don't care about looking good at all, but it was finding that balance of, yes, sometimes I do want to wear heels, but I'm going to take extra care into, or a little extra time and effort to find a shoe that is going to be not detrimental to my health or to my feet or to my comfort level or my ability to be present when I go to these events. Because, what's the point of going to a party and I have the baddest shoes on, but I have to sit down the entire time, or I'm constantly having to sit down during the party, and I want to go say hi to this person, but like my feet hurt so bad, so I'm gonna just wave. It's like little things like that, and it slowly starts to trim your quality of life. So it's this type of energy I hope you guys are following, that their spiritual team wants them to kind of adjust. Like I said earlier, it is somehow tied to their self-esteem or feeling of unworthiness that is attached to their childhood. On the far right of the spread, we have the Queen of Cups coming out in reverse. And I'm hearing the word distaste. I'm not sure if that is a word, distaste. Like not appealing or something, like distasteful. And then next to that, we have the Magician card in reverse. And I'm hearing the word romanticize. So I have heard this idea of romanticizing your life and stuff kind of recently, like within the last year. And I think it is a good concept, or a way to kind of practice things is kind of like, I did romanticize when I was telling you about like my foot journey, how I used to not like them, and then I started taking care of them. Now I don't feel insecure about them anymore. Um, it's like romanticizing is going back to that approach, how you approach something. Are you approaching it as a problem, or are you approaching it as some aspect of yourself that still needs reassurance, confidence, um, heavy on the reassurance, nurturance, that type of energy. Oh yeah, I forgot to say that like I put lotion on my feet every day, just like little practices like that. Um, yeah, so it's kind of like giving me this alchemizing energy with their emotions that their spiritual team is wanting them to tap into. So this is an emotional or touchy or a sensitive type of topic for this person, and their spiritual team is kind of like in a water way, like thinking Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces type of energy, like in a very nurturing. Think of like how powerful the water is when um, the waves crash against a rock. Over time, that rock starts to take a certain shape. So think of that or remember that when you kind of feel like you've been doing things and you're not seeing the results, but like over time it is starting to shape something, and it's like a less abrasive, a less intrusive type of approach and perspective that you approach this thing that you want to be better naturally, because we all want to look good, but there's this balance thing that spiritual team is bringing up here. So directly underneath this magician card, we have the Wheel of Fortune coming out in the choice point position. So this is kind of like allowing, um, you've heard of like, some of you may have heard of like Tao. Like Tao is just like, oh, the Tao. It's like something about flowing, learning how to flow with life, flow with the environment, flow with nature. It's harder to like try to fight nature, or you may have heard like you have to have a little bit of flexibility. Buildings have to have a little bit of flexibility, because if you are too firm, the whole thing will just break. So it has to be able to sway just a little bit, just enough. But with the Wheel of Fortune, their spiritual team is constantly moving things. Time is changing. This is coming up and giving the energy of like the ability to accept aging gracefully, or learning how to age gracefully, or to embrace the aging process. Is coming up, and it's coming up in the choice point position underneath the magician, where their spiritual team is saying there's something that we're wanting you to alchemize. There's something that we want you to participate in this transformation, collaborate in this transformation with us. Yes, we've initiated because there is this new stage that you're meant to move on to, but we would rather like it to be a collaborative effort, because it's not that you don't have like free will or an ability to kind of choose how you perceive this event happening. So yeah, on top of that, we have the devil in reverse. So I do see this as an opportunity not to, like, I'm getting there's different choices that this person can make, and they can kind of go this route where that cultivates or um, provides a breeding ground for limitations in their perception on age, and it limits their ability to experience a growth in their self-esteem, and it would put them in a place where they miss the opportunity for self-empowerment. Mm, and it's like a road where it leads to self-doubt and and more growth of insecurities, personal insecurities. And then I see them being presented another opportunity to kind of challenge their perception and being able to adjust their look in some way. So I see that angels, guides, ancestors, God, source, and benevolent energies that stand in truth and love. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the guidance. Thank you for the protection. What else do we need to know regarding this reading? What else do we need to be aware of? What else do we need to know? Yes. Yes. So under under the deck, under current energy, we have the death card, um, which is representing an opportunity to have a say, have a have the ability, like it's like their spiritual team is wanting them to kind of put their spin on it. It's like, we're going to change some things, but don't think that you're completely at the mercy of. You do have a say so in some things, and these are the things that you have a say in. So it's kind of like that I that idea of, hair's thinning, may need to adjust it or do another style. You don't necessarily have to shave it all off, and you don't necessarily have to hide in wigs and put, just for example, products, dye in your hair that may not be good for your health, for example. So it's that type of energy. So transformation is available, and to be able to do it with grace and dignity is important to this person, and their spiritual team wants them to know that, like, we can collaborate on this transformation. Underneath the deck, we have the top of the deck, undercurrent energy, and it's the moon card in reverse, which is still signifying or reconfirming that this person hasn't yet realized that there is something that they can do about the situation, that they can have a say, and that this is an opportunity for further self discovery, that it's not something that has to be feared. Okay. And I'm hearing the words commercial vehicle. So this person has the opportunity to move from one stage of their life to the next. They are leveling up. They're going to be on a new paradigm type of energy, a new storyline. And underneath this Six of Pentacles, which came out in reverse earlier in the spread, I just talked about the Moon card. The Moon card is coming out above that card in reverse, and below this Six of Pentacles we have Eight of Wands in reverse. So I'm hearing the word halted. Something about this person's efforts and practices they're going to experience a delay. So this is coming through in the form of, we all know that energy of, like, this product is being discontinued. We came out with a much better formula, but it's really not. Like, you tried the new formula and you don't really care for it. So it's like, well, now I'm just out of a product. Like, the new formula is not even better. I wish they would have kept it the same. It's giving that type of energy. So this person is going to start to experience delays, frustrations, stuff like that, something being discontinued, something being more expensive than they're willing to pay for to get, something being inconvenient to purchase type of energy. And their spiritual team is hoping that they recognize that this is kind of like a sign, and for them to kind of like flow, even though it's frustrating because you had this idea, this picture in your mind that you were going to get this thing, and then being open to information and being able to realize, like, maybe it was not meant for me after all, even though I've been daydreaming about this for weeks now. It's giving that type of energy. So yeah, things are not just flowing, and that's a part of the tower moment type of card too. But speaking of the tower, on top of this tower card, which came out in the resistant position, where their spiritual demon is saying, you're a little in resistant to this change transformation that we have initiated, and that could lead to some more frustrations, difficulties, and limitations, lack of understanding in the future. On top of that, we have the Five of Cups in reverse. I'm hearing the word anger. So this person will, and I'm hearing detriment, have to, like, they're gonna go through these phases of, like, I was talking about today, the phases of grief. There's like 5 stages of grief, someone said. And I think one of the initial ones is like denial, and then bargaining, and then all that stuff. So this person is kind of like clearly upset. I was hearing the word angry. They are frustrated or will be frustrated, and their spiritual team is saying like to kind of alchemize this energy, clear this energy. Some of the thoughts or perceptions that they have that is putting in them in this space where they're disappointed are not true or false, and their spiritual team is wanting them to get to a place where they realize that. So it's giving beauty standards, like, example that's coming through for a woman. Maybe this one particular woman feels like it's more beautiful, it's more feminine, it's more sexy to have really long hair. And that example of like you can still just be just as beautiful, just as sexy, embody some kind of sexy, some kind of just different aspects, like just trying to learn how to experience and believe and embody all these qualities that you said that you have to have. You have to have long hair to have with short hair, like being able to realize those or play around with it to realize like, oh, actually this is sexy too, or this is beautiful too, or actually I don't feel any less feminine with short hair. It's giving that energy. So yeah, being able to shift your perception. I feel like you guys let me know if like, are you feeling what I'm saying? Because I'm kind of feeling like a little like the message is not as easy to or smoothly coming out or something. So underneath this tower card and the Five of Cups in reverse, where they're feeling like they're not happy about this situation, we have the Ten of Pentacles in reverse. Their long-term thoughts, like basically their perception of what they felt like was beautiful or they felt like was feminine or sexy or attractive, whatever they thought had to be in order to embody or be perceived or to feel like they're attractive, is not long term. It's not sustainable way to look at that. So they're having or being called to find other ways to be that. Okay? That's going to bring long-term value for them. So I'm seeing like if they are able to exercise this and really alchemize this energy, they will experience abundance. Because it's coming out in reverse because they're not in that perception right now. They will be able to experience abundance, true stability, true wealth, longevity, regards to like their self-esteem, who they really are. I don't know, it's kind of like taking the scenic route to get healthy rather than maybe putting a whole bunch of chemicals on your body or in your body. For example, like, I don't know, I don't want to go through there. It's the energy of like getting a BBL or getting a boob job and foregoing the fact that putting silicone in your body may not be the healthiest thing, or whatever material they use. I don't really know. Putting whatever that is, like some people have been reporting like they've been getting sick because of that, like how it's bleeding into their blood and stuff like that. It's like that energy of getting stable enough where you don't compromise your health in order to maintain something, or you're not shaming or buying into putting yourself down through your actions. Trying to maintain something that is needing to change, transform. So yeah, so we have that, and then on top of that 10 of Pentacles in reverse, we have the Knight of Cups in reverse. I'm hearing the word encouragement. So this person is definitely, their spiritual team really wants them to like start practicing affirmations or any practices that kind of like them get into the habit of reaffirming themselves type of energy. Okay, next to this 10 of Pentacles in reverse and that Knight of Cups, right next to it and directly underneath this 5 of Cups where they're not happy about their situation, we have the High Priestess in reverse. So going back to this aspect earlier in the reading of their spiritual team is wanting them to kind of alchemize these fears that they have about being able to maintain whatever this look is that they're trying to embody. And they're saying with the High Priestess in reverse that something about their perception is not all the way true. And also their discernment is out of alignment in regards to their self-esteem and their self-image. It's out of alignment. But they do have the ability to get in alignment because the High Priestess did come out. Please don't mistake it. So their spiritual team is also saying that this is going to be character building if they can get through this and alchemize this energy, this fear that they have about the reality of them aging. Period. Okay, so on the middle of the spread, we had quite a few cards come out. Earlier we had this Page of Wands come out upright where their spiritual team is wanting to get more curious about their self-image and who they are now, being in the present moment, not trying to hold on to something that needs to be let go of, to get more creative with their look, to be open to adjustment. On top of that, we have the 10 of Cups. So their spiritual team is saying that they also have the opportunity to experience true and authentic emotional fulfillment by doing this. But it's coming out in the resistant position. So this is a really challenging situation for this person. This is very challenging. And again, I'm hearing commercial vehicles moving from one stage of their life to the next. Self-acceptance is definitely coming through. That is the energy that's coming through here. But they're not realizing right now that they can feel just as emotionally happy and abundant learning how to navigate this. Yep. And on top of this, or it's like it's coming out like this. So it can, these spreads can mean different things for me. I don't know why I feel like I have to show you this, but like sometimes a card will come out underneath this, so it's an extension of the story for me. Sometimes it'll come out on top of this, so it's trying to expand upon this energy. So the both of the cards are coming directly on top of this Page of Wands, where their spiritual team is wanting them to get more curious and take more interest in their feelings about their self-image and being flexible and open. So we have the Ten of Cups we talked about, and then we also have the Nine of Pentacles. Both of these cards are in the resistant position, mind you. But the Nine of Pentacles represents someone that has inner authority. They're established. They no longer like doubt themselves. Like they know who they are. So it's giving Leo energy, but with actual integrity. So it's like giving me like Leo and Taurus energy. So like I've actually, like, it's giving that energy, like, you know how, like, if you were to look at this person, some people in a lower vibration would be like, oh, she only got the job because she's beautiful. But in reality, she's beautiful as fuck, no lie, but she's also really good at what she does. And it's like how someone would want to kind of like discredit that type is the type of energy that I'm getting. So this person is the shit, and on top of that they know it, and there's this balanced quality that can make someone want to hate or dislike them, because it's just like, damn, it's not good enough that you're good at it, but it's like you know that you're good at it, and there's this healthy banter or talk of like, this person is not necessarily shy to tell people that they're good at something too. And it's the difference between confidence and boastfulness and bragging. This person is not bragging, like they're really the shit, and they're really confident in themselves. This is the energy that their spiritual team is wanting them to embody, and it's giving authenticity. It's giving, if you know Bretman Rock, it's like like how you was just born out the womb with so much confidence. And he's talked about that, like it's been cultivated by his upbringing, but still. Hopefully you guys can resonate with that. But their spiritual team, this whoever this reading is for, the celebrity, male celebrity that this reading is for, it's like their spiritual team is saying like they can, like this person is trying to hold on to like feeling badass or feeling handsome or feeling sexy, or still trying to hold on to this era where they were a sex symbol. And their spiritual team is like, I'm looking at a mirror that has been cracked, and it's just like they're looking in the mirror and the mirror cracked, and it's just like they don't see themselves the way that they always have, and it's kind of like putting them, it's like kind of like messing with their head type of energy. And their spiritual team is like, relax, like all is not lost. You still have the opportunity to feel completely sexy, but it's going to change. It's going to require that you change your perception, your mind. So if you have a standard of beauty because all of your life this is what you've been able to embody, or this is what you've seen, and that changes for whatever reason, having the ability to broaden what your idea of beauty is or can be, that type of energy. I feel like it is so complex. Okay. So earlier we talked about the Devil card coming out here, these attachments, false attachments that this person have. Above that, the Two of Pentacles kind of came out upright, so definitely reconfirming or speaking to a need to find balance in this situation. And their spiritual team again was wanting them to alchemize these emotions that are coming up for them. That feels like fear. Okay, then we have Temperance card came out in reverse directly underneath these two cards we just talked about, the Nine of Pentacles and the Ten of Cups. So they feel like something about their status, their self-image, how they'll be perceived is being compromised. And it's just like, people know me as this, I know me as this. If I cease to be this, then if I'm not no longer this, then what am I type of energy. So it's just like another layer is falling off, and this happens to all of us, whether we get sick over time and we can't do things that we used to do, maybe we can't drink or eat the things that we used to, maybe our hair is not as whatever as it used to be, our skin is not as whatever it used to be, our finances are not what it used to be, our career is not what it used to be, working status. I had a certain job and now I don't have the energy for this certain job, or I don't have the passion for this certain job. And so now I'm thinking that I can't experience a level of fulfillment or self-esteem because it doesn't look like that anymore. Okay. Yeah, so this is like rattling this person. It's rattling, it's getting to their head, it's making them feel unstable. Directly underneath this devil card, we have the Knight of Swords coming out in the choice point position. And I'm hearing the word brash, and I'm hearing the word monumental. So I'm getting something about they can attack this issue aggressively, because we talked about earlier, like something about your approach, how you approach something. You can approach this aggressively, like nip this in the bud, that type of energy, but not be so like brash on yourself, like hurting yourself, harming yourself in order to achieve something. So approaching something with integrity, approaching something with thought and care. That's energy. I literally have 5% battery and 2 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock. So yeah. So being mindful of your approach is in the choice point position. So that may be a challenge for you, and then, or for this person. And then we have the Fool card in reverse. It is actually a freeing opportunity. The spiritual team invoked this tower moment, and there's an opportunity to be free, renewed. Allow these false attachments, these false perceptions, these limiting ideas to fall away, and then you'll rediscover yourself in a new way, in a newfound appreciation. Oh, I was looking at this and I thought it was counting down because it was showing me how many minutes I have left if I'm running out of space. But then it was counting up and I thought it was on 3 minutes, but we're on 1 hour and 3 minutes. But I was like, did the video cut off? I was like shook. So yeah, an opportunity for a new sense of freedom is coming through. Then we also had right next to this the Ten of Swords. The Ten of Swords is like a situation or circumstance where you feel like you've been defeated. You feel like this is an end of an era, and it very well may be, but the overall message is that this is also an opportunity for transformation. So what you perceive as the end is just the beginning of a new opportunity or era, and you have the power, the authority, the ability to kind of decide what that looks like for you by making sure that your perception is in alignment. Going back to this mind-body connection, being aware of your energy, being aware of the times, and being able to be flexible and move accordingly. So yeah, so what feels like is a undue, unjust um, punishment or experience is actually a gateway to, I'm getting like butterfly energy transformation.